Homeowners associations, commonly known as HOAs, play a significant role in many residential communities. They are designed to maintain property values and ensure a certain standard of living among residents. However, this often comes with a set of strict rules and regulations that can sometimes feel stifling to homeowners. My experience with the HOA began when I decided to enhance my driveway by putting up a basketball hoop, a simple addition that reflected my passion for the sport and offered an opportunity for recreation. Little did I know that this seemingly harmless decision would lead to an unexpected confrontation with the HOA. When I first moved into my neighborhood, I was aware of the existence of the HOA, but I didn't fully grasp the extent of its authority until I received a formal notice regarding my basketball hoop. The notice outlined several specific reasons why my hoop was not in compliance with HOA regulations. According to the association, outdoor structures must adhere to aesthetic guidelines that promote uniformity throughout the community. The visual impact of a basketball hoop, they argued, detracted from the overall appearance and charm of our neighborhood. As I read through the notice, it became clear that the HOA had established detailed rules governing everything from fence heights to paint colors on homes. These regulations were designed to create a cohesive look for the community, but also left little room for personal expression or individual preferences. The fine print revealed that any changes to exterior property elements required approval from the board, something I hadn't considered when I decided to set up my hoop. The rationale behind these rules often centers around maintaining property values and ensuring that homes remain appealing for prospective buyers. The HOA believed that if every homeowner could make arbitrary changes to their property, it could lead to a decline in neighborhood aesthetics and, subsequently, property prices. While I understood the intention behind these regulations, it felt incredibly limiting. My driveway basketball hoop was not just a piece of equipment. It symbolized joy, camaraderie with friends, and active living. Receiving the notice prompted a mixture of emotions: frustration, disappointment, and even a sense of helplessness. In my mind, I imagined children in the neighborhood using my driveway as a space to learn basketball skills or simply enjoy a fun game with friends. But now those dreams were being curtailed by an unseen authority dictating how I should use my own property. I decided to attend the next HOA meeting, hoping to present my case and express how important basketball was to me, not just as a sport, but as a way to connect with my neighbors and foster community spirit. As I sat in the meeting room surrounded by fellow residents and board members, I noticed several others nodding along as I shared my thoughts on how sports can bring people together. However, despite my heartfelt appeal, the board remained steadfast in their stance against any structures that deviated from their guidelines. Their decision felt final. My driveway basketball hoop was gone for good. The frustration bubbled within me as I left that meeting. I felt stifled by rules that seemed disconnected from real-life enjoyment and connection. In the days following the meeting, I found myself reflecting on not just my situation, but on the broader implications of living under such stringent regulations. It became evident that while HOAs strive for order and uniformity, they can inadvertently suppress individuality and personal freedom. This realization sparked something within me, a determination to reclaim my space in a way that conformed less rigidly to their constraints. The more I thought about it, the more inspired I felt. If the HOA wouldn't allow me a simple hoop on my driveway, perhaps there was another way to express my love for basketball without infringing on their rules. That's when it hit me. Instead of fighting against them or feeling defeated, why not create something even better? What if I transformed my backyard into a full-fledged basketball court? This would not only serve as a replacement for my driveway hoop, but also provide an expansive area for games, training sessions, and gatherings. With this newfound resolve came research into local zoning laws and HOA guidelines about constructing personal sports facilities on private property. My goal was clear: build a place where friends could come together without having to worry about HOA restrictions or complaints from neighbors. The initial steps involved mapping out how much space I had in my backyard and what materials would be necessary for creating the court, all while keeping in mind any potential pushback from neighbors or officials. As daunting as it seemed at first, each step brought me closer to fulfilling this vision of personal freedom through recreation. In hindsight, Facing off against the HOA's ban on my driveway basketball hoop turned out to be a pivotal moment in my life, one that propelled me toward building something much greater than just a place to shoot hoops. It became an expression of resilience, creativity, and community spirit. With every challenge faced along this journey towards creating my backyard court, I learned valuable lessons about standing up for what matters most, even when faced with restrictive rules meant to govern our lives. When I first received the notice from the Homeowners Association, it felt like a punch to the gut. I was sitting at my kitchen table, sipping coffee and basking in the morning sun, when I opened the envelope to find the formal letter. The world outside was buzzing with life, and all I could think about was how deflated I felt reading their words. My driveway basketball hoop, which had been a source of joy and exercise for me and my family, was now deemed an unsightly structure that violated community standards. The initial reaction was a whirlwind of emotions. Frustration surged through me like a tidal wave. I couldn't help but feel that the HOA's decision was an overreach, an unnecessary intrusion into how I chose to enjoy my own property. This wasn't just about a hoop. It encapsulated my love for basketball, my desire to create memories with friends and family, and my longing for a space where we could all gather and have fun. In that moment, it felt as if the HOA was stripping away a piece of my identity. As frustration morphed into disappointment, I began to reflect on what basketball meant to me. It wasn't merely a pastime. It was an integral part of who I was. Growing up, I spent countless hours on the court, honing my skills and bonding with friends. Those memories flooded back, shooting hoops until dusk, playing pickup games with neighbors, and experiencing the thrill of competition. The driveway hoop had been a direct connection to those cherished moments, a way to keep that spirit alive in my adult life. Over the next few days, as I walked past the now empty spot where the hoop used to stand, feelings of helplessness began to creep in. It wasn't just about losing something physical. It felt like losing a part of myself. I would see kids playing basketball in their driveways or parks nearby, and couldn't help but envy their freedom. They didn't have an HOA dictating how they lived their lives or what they could do on their own properties. That sense of confinement gnawed at me. Conversations with family and friends only deepened my feelings. While many sympathized with my situation, some suggested that I simply comply with the HOA's demands and move on. "It's just a hoop," they said casually, as if dismissing an integral part of my happiness was easy. But for me, it wasn't just a hoop. It represented community spirit and personal expression, elements that were crucial to living a fulfilling life. In search of solace, I turned to basketball highlights online for inspiration. Watching iconic players make incredible shots fueled my passion even more. However, every video served as a reminder of what I had just lost, a place to practice those very skills myself. Instead of feeling uplifted by these clips, they became bittersweet reminders of how confined I felt by the HOA's regulations. As days turned into weeks, emotions began oscillating between anger and determination. I found myself daydreaming about transforming my backyard into something extraordinary, a full basketball court where not only I could play, but also where neighbors could come together for friendly games. That vision started to take root in my mind as an antidote to the HOA's restrictive measures. One evening, while lounging in the backyard with friends for our regular barbecue night, I shared my thoughts about building a court. Their responses were overwhelmingly positive and supportive. They shared stories about how they too longed for a recreational space that fostered connection within our community. The camaraderie felt invigorating. It reignited something within me that had dimmed since receiving the notice. The idea evolved further during those discussions. We talked about how great it would be to host neighborhood tournaments or weekend games under twinkling lights, creating memories similar to those from our childhoods but in our own backyards. As laughter filled the air around us that night, I began realizing that perhaps this setback could turn into an opportunity for something bigger than myself. However, despite this newfound motivation, there were still moments when self-doubt crept in. Could I really pull this off? What if the HOA intervened again? Would neighbors applaud or criticize me for trying to carve out this space? These questions lingered in my mind even as excitement bubbled beneath the surface. The emotional roller coaster continued as I weighed pros and cons in my head daily. Yet amidst all these uncertainties, one truth became evident. Reclaiming my love for basketball would require resilience and creativity, qualities I've always admired in athletes on the court. Initially shaken by the HOA's ban on my driveway hoop, I slowly began channeling those raw emotions into determination, a drive fueled not just by personal interests, but also by connections forged within our community through sportsmanship and friendship. Embracing this shift allowed me to envision not merely building a court, but creating an environment where everyone could come together, something deeper than just playing basketball. It became about fostering community ties that transcend property lines and rules imposed by an HOA. In facing adversity head-on instead of succumbing to defeatism, I realized that challenges often pave the way for opportunities we never anticipated, opportunities to grow stronger both personally and within our communities as we navigate life's obstacles together. The journey ahead would undoubtedly be fraught with challenges, but armed with newfound purpose and support from friends and neighbors alike, building that full court in my backyard became not only feasible, but an inspiring mission worth pursuing wholeheartedly. With a renewed sense of purpose and the vision of a full basketball court dancing in my mind, I knew the next step was to conduct thorough research and planning. I wanted to ensure that this project would not only fulfill my dreams, but also comply with any regulations set forth by the HOA and local ordinances. The journey ahead promised to be as challenging as it was exciting, but I was determined to see it through. The first item on my agenda was to familiarize myself with local zoning laws and any specific regulations regarding outdoor structures in residential areas. I spent hours poring over city websites, community forums, and even reaching out to a few neighbors who had undertaken similar projects. It quickly became clear that while many aspects of constructing a court were straightforward, understanding the legalities surrounding property modifications was crucial. I didn't want to invest time and money only to face another setback or a fine from the HOA. As I delved deeper into the research, I learned about the importance of maintaining proper setbacks from property lines. Many municipalities require certain distances between structures and neighboring properties, especially when it comes to things like sports courts. This meant I had to measure my yard carefully to determine how much space I could realistically dedicate to building the court. Armed with a measuring tape, I ventured outside and mapped out the dimensions of my yard, marking where the court could potentially fit. Next came the design aspect. What kind of court did I want? A standard half-court layout? A full-size court? After some deliberation, I decided on a half-court setup for several reasons. First, it would fit comfortably within my backyard without encroaching on any setbacks or neighboring properties. Second, it would still provide ample space for family and friends to enjoy games without feeling cramped. While skimming through online resources and watching DIY videos on basketball court construction, I discovered various materials used for surfacing. Options range from asphalt to concrete and even modular tiles designed specifically for sports courts. Each material came with its pros and cons. Asphalt was durable, but could crack over time, while modular tiles offered easy installation but might not have the same longevity. I needed to strike a balance between quality and cost without sacrificing performance. Budgeting became another crucial factor in my planning process. After estimating costs for materials, tools, and any additional features like a backboard or lighting, I realized that this project could get expensive quickly. To keep expenses manageable, I began searching for local suppliers who could provide materials at bulk rates or discounts for homeowners undertaking DIY projects. It felt empowering to take control of this aspect of planning. I was no longer just reacting to an HOA ban, but actively pursuing something meaningful. I also reached out to friends who had experience in construction or landscaping for their insights and advice on building a basketball court from scratch. Their input proved invaluable as they shared tips on leveling the ground, ensuring proper drainage, and even how to paint court lines accurately. With each conversation, my confidence grew. This wouldn't just be an individual effort, it would be a community project where friends could lend their skills. Another important consideration was how this court would fit into the overall aesthetic of my backyard. The last thing I wanted was for it to feel like an eyesore that clashed with the rest of my home's exterior or landscaping. Inspired by some creative designs I had seen online, I decided that incorporating natural elements, like surrounding flower beds or shrubs, will help blend the court into its environment while providing visual appeal. Of course, part of my planning involved preparing for potential pushback from the HOA once they saw what I was doing. Even though my goal was within legal boundaries, I wanted to remain proactive in addressing any concerns they might have regarding noise or aesthetics. With this in mind, I drafted a letter outlining my intentions for building the court, emphasizing how it would enhance community engagement, and planned to share it with both the HOA board and my immediate neighbors before breaking ground. As excitement built around this project, so did anticipation about how much this new space could foster community spirit among residents. Imagining weekend games filled with laughter and competitive camaraderie fuel my energy during those long hours spent researching plans and materials. Once all components of research began falling into place, the dimensions of the court, budget estimates, landscaping ideas, I created a detailed timeline for execution. Breaking down each phase into manageable tasks made it less daunting. From clearing out the backyard area to pouring concrete and painting lines, every step had its designated time frame. Looking back on this process now, it's fascinating how much preparation went into turning what initially felt like an insurmountable challenge into an achievable goal, one that transformed not just my backyard but also redefined how I interacted with my community. The more diligently I researched and planned, the clearer it became that building this basketball court represented far more than merely replacing a band hoop. It symbolized resilience against restrictions while embracing personal freedom, something that HOAs often overlook in their pursuit of uniformity. With determination fueling me forward alongside support from friends who shared similar passions for sportsmanship and community bonding opportunities through recreation, every detail meticulously planned during this phase laid strong groundwork leading up to construction day, a day when dreams began materializing into reality right in my own backyard. With the research and planning phase behind me, it was time to dive into the creative aspect of the project, designing the basketball court. This was where I could let my imagination run wild while still keeping practicality in mind. I envisioned a space that would not only serve its functional purpose as a place to play basketball, but also enhance the overall aesthetics of my backyard. The first step in the design process was determining the exact dimensions of the court. As I mentioned previously, I had settled on a half-court layout, which typically measures 42 feet wide by 50 feet long. This size would fit comfortably in my backyard while allowing enough space for various types of games and drills. I grabbed a roll of measuring tape and marked out the dimensions on the ground, using stakes and string to outline where the court would be placed. It was exciting to see the physical space taking shape. Each measurement brought me closer to realizing my vision. Next came the choice of surface material. After extensive research, I had narrowed it down to two viable options: concrete and modular tiles. Concrete was durable and provided a solid playing surface, while modular tiles offered an easy installation process and better shock absorption, making them more comfortable for players. After discussing both options with friends who had experience in constructing sports courts, I leaned towards using modular tiles. They would allow me flexibility in design and color, which was essential for creating a personalized look. Once the surface material was decided, I turned my attention to court markings. The typical basketball court has specific lines for three-point shots, free throws, and out-of-bounds areas. I wanted to ensure that my design included these essential elements, but also allowed for some creative flair. After browsing different styles online, I came across several vibrant designs that incorporated colors beyond the standard white lines. Inspired by these ideas, I decided to use bright blue for the boundary lines and a bold yellow for the key area around the hoop. This color scheme would add energy to the court and make it visually appealing. In addition to colors and markings, I wanted to give some thought to additional features that would enhance both functionality and enjoyment. For example, installing a sturdy backboard with a hoop was essential, but I also wanted it to have an adjustable height feature. This way, younger kids could lower it for easier shots while still allowing adults to play at regulation height. After researching various options online, I found an adjustable hoop that fit my budget perfectly. It even came with an accompanying net that promised durability against harsh weather conditions. Lighting was another critical aspect of the design process. Because I envisioned hosting evening games with friends and neighbors, proper lighting would be crucial for visibility during those late-night matches. I decided on installing LED floodlights around the perimeter of the court. They would provide ample brightness while being energy efficient. Plus, their sleek design would blend seamlessly with my backyard's aesthetic. Landscaping around the court became an equally important consideration as I developed my design. To create an inviting atmosphere, I imagined surrounding the court with greenery, such as small shrubs or flowering plants, that would soften its appearance and add vibrancy. During my research phase, I found several low-maintenance plants that thrive in our climate. These could withstand foot traffic while providing pops of color throughout the year. As excitement built around this project, I couldn't help but think about how much joy this space could bring not just me, but also my family and neighbors. Designing something that encouraged community involvement added another layer of purpose to this endeavor. It wasn't merely about having a place to shoot hoops. It was about fostering connections among people in our neighborhood. With all these ideas swirling in my mind, I created detailed sketches outlining every element of the court, from dimensions and surface materials to colors and landscaping features. This visual representation helped solidify my vision while ensuring no detail went overlooked during construction. I also took time to consult friends who had experience with landscaping and outdoor lighting installation. Their insights were invaluable as I refined my designs further. They suggested incorporating seating areas nearby, perhaps benches or picnic tables, where families could gather during games or simply enjoy downtime outdoors together. The design phase culminated into a cohesive plan that balanced both aesthetics and practicality, a true reflection of what this basketball court meant to me personally, as well as how it could serve others within our community. As each component fell into place seamlessly, dimensions outlined neatly on paper alongside vibrant colors selected thoughtfully, I felt an overwhelming sense of satisfaction knowing that this dream was transforming from mere sketches into physical reality right here in my backyard. Looking back now at this stage of planning, the creativity infused throughout every detail truly highlighted how much this project represented more than just building another outdoor structure. It embodied resilience against restrictions imposed by HOAs while celebrating personal passions through active living among neighbors united by shared interests. With each stroke of imagination guiding decisions made along this journey toward construction day ahead, I knew deep down that designing this basketball court was not merely about creating space for play, but fostering connections within our community through sportsmanship, teamwork, and shared experiences, a testament to reclaiming joy from constraints put upon us. As I transitioned from designing my basketball court to the next phase of the project, it became evident that I couldn't do this alone. Building a full court in my backyard would require not just a solid plan, but also the support and resources of those around me. I realized that enlisting friends, family, and even a few neighbors could turn this endeavor into a collaborative community project, making it all the more rewarding. The first step in gathering support was reaching out to my close friends who share my passion for basketball. I organized a casual get-together at my house, where we could discuss the court and brainstorm ideas together. Over pizza and drinks, I laid out my vision for the court, how it would fit into the backyard, the vibrant colors I planned to use, and how I wanted it to become a social hub for our neighborhood. Their enthusiasm was palpable. They loved the idea of having a dedicated space to play and hang out. One friend, Jason, who had experience in construction, offered invaluable advice on the practical aspects of building the court. He suggested that we create a group to pool our resources and skills. This way, we could share tools, labor, and even knowledge about landscaping and lighting installation. The idea of working together made the project feel less daunting, transforming it from an individual task into a community effort. With Jason on board, we made a list of tasks that needed to be tackled, everything from clearing the area and leveling the ground to installing the hoop and lighting. We set up a group chat where everyone could coordinate schedules and volunteer their time. The response was heartening. Soon enough, several friends committed to helping on specific days. It felt incredible knowing that so many people were willing to lend a hand. In addition to enlisting friends, I knew that securing resources would be essential for keeping costs manageable. With everyone contributing their skills and tools, I began reaching out to local suppliers for materials needed for construction. I contacted hardware stores and landscaping suppliers in search of deals on modular tiles, concrete mix if needed, and outdoor lighting options. To my surprise, many local businesses were eager to support community projects like mine, offering discounts or even sponsorship opportunities in exchange for advertising space on the court. Armed with a list of materials needed for construction, I organized a small fundraising effort among friends. We decided to host a weekend barbecue at my place where we would invite neighbors as well. This not only served as an opportunity to raise funds, but also to spread awareness about the project within our community. During the barbecue, I shared plans for the court and how it would provide a space for everyone, not just for basketball enthusiasts, but also for families looking to gather in an active environment. The barbecue turned out to be an enormous success. Not only did we raise funds through donations for food and drinks, but we also expressed how this project could foster community engagement through sportsmanship and friendly competition. Conversations flowed easily as neighbors exchanged stories about their own experiences with basketball or other sports during their childhoods. As word spread about my plans for the basketball court, I received offers of assistance from unexpected places. A neighbor who owned a landscaping company volunteered his expertise in designing surrounding greenery. He helped me select low-maintenance plants that would thrive around the court while softening its appearance against the backdrop of our homes. His insights were invaluable in ensuring that aesthetics remained at the forefront of our project. Additionally, another neighbor, a former electrician, offered to assist with installing outdoor lighting once we reached that stage of construction. Having someone with expertise in electrical work eased many concerns about safety and compliance with regulations related to outdoor installations. The collaborative spirit was infectious. Seeing so many people rallying behind this idea filled me with motivation. Each interaction reinforced how important this project was, not just as an individual pursuit, but as an opportunity to strengthen ties within our community. As work began taking shape, friends showed up with shovels one Saturday morning while others arrived with snacks. The atmosphere buzzed with camaraderie. We chatted while digging out earth from where the court would go and shared laughter as we figured out how best to level the ground together. Furthermore, gathering support extended beyond physical help. It became a way for neighbors to engage with one another more meaningfully than before. Conversations flowed easily over shared goals. Many expressed excitement about hosting games or tournaments once everything was complete. I also took note of how important communication played throughout this process. Keeping everyone informed about timelines ensured smooth collaboration on weekends dedicated solely toward building efforts. Regular updates allowed us all to celebrate small victories along the way, from completing ground leveling tasks successfully to picking up materials without hassle. Reflecting on these moments now reminds me just how integral community support was during this journey, transforming what began as frustration over an HOA ban into something transformative filled with creativity, teamwork, and resilience against challenges faced together. By pooling resources effectively while embracing open lines of communication among neighbors who genuinely cared about contributing positively toward each other's lives, we were collectively shaping not only a basketball court but forging lasting memories rooted deeply within our shared experiences along this journey, a testament proving that unity truly makes us stronger. As the day of construction finally arrived, excitement mingled with a touch of nervousness. We had spent weeks planning, discussing, and gathering support, and now it was time to bring the vision of my basketball court to life. Armed with tools, materials, and a dedicated crew of friends and neighbors, we gathered in my backyard ready to take on this monumental task. The first order of business was clearing the area where the court would be built. This involved removing any grass, debris, and rocks that could interfere with the surface. With shovels in hand and laughter echoing through the air, we got to work, transforming my backyard into a blank canvas. As dirt flew and conversations flowed, I felt an overwhelming sense of camaraderie. Everyone was eager to help, sharing stories and jokes as we tackled this physical labor together. Once we cleared the area, it was time to level the ground. This step was crucial for ensuring that the playing surface would be even and safe for gameplay. Using a long board as a leveling tool, we painstakingly checked for high and low spots throughout the area. It took some trial and error, digging here, adding soil there, but with cooperation and teamwork, we managed to create a flat foundation for the court. After achieving a level surface, we moved on to laying down the base material. I had chosen modular tiles for their durability and ease of installation. Each tile interlocked seamlessly with its neighbors, creating a solid playing surface. As we worked together to lay down the tiles, I marveled at how quickly progress was being made. Friends were chatting animatedly while snapping tiles into place. It felt like a well-orchestrated dance. During this process, Jason took the lead in instructing us on how to ensure everything was aligned properly. His experience in construction shone through as he emphasized the importance of getting this right. Anything less would impact gameplay later on. Following his guidance made it easy to stay focused. Everyone wanted this court to be perfect. With each row of tiles laid down, I could envision what this space would ultimately become: a hub for basketball games, laughter, and community gatherings. The sense of anticipation built as we completed more sections of the court. We paused only briefly for lunch, pizza delivered by another friend who wanted to contribute, and returned rejuvenated to finish what we had started. Once all the tiles were in place, it was time to install the hoop. I had purchased an adjustable basketball system that promised both sturdiness and flexibility for players of varying heights. With several hands working together, we followed instructions carefully while securing it into place at one end of the court. The moment it stood upright felt monumental. This was not just a hoop but a symbol of resilience against restrictions imposed by the HOA. As daylight began to fade, our attention turned toward lighting installation. Thanks to my neighbor's expertise as an electrician, we were able to set up LED floodlights around the perimeter efficiently. He guided us through connecting wires safely while explaining each step along the way, transforming what could have been a daunting task into an engaging learning opportunity for all involved. Once everything was installed and operational, we stepped back to admire our handiwork under the glow of bright lights illuminating the newly constructed court. It looked incredible. The vibrant colors painted on the lines popped against the backdrop of evening sky. It was everything I had envisioned and more. But there was still one crucial aspect left: landscaping around the court. With help from my neighbor who owned a landscaping business, we worked diligently to plant shrubs and flowers that would frame this new recreational space beautifully. Choosing plants that were low maintenance yet vibrant added character without overwhelming the surroundings, ensuring that when people came to play or relax nearby, they'd feel embraced by nature. As dusk settled in and we finished planting flowers around the edges of the court, I couldn't help but reflect on how far this journey had come. From receiving that initial HOA notice banning my driveway to standing amidst friends who had rallied together to create something extraordinary. The last step involved painting those bright boundary lines onto our newly laid surface, an act that felt symbolic in so many ways. As each stroke went down with precision, we all took turns ensuring accuracy. The excitement reached its peak until finally, it was done. Stepping back again once everything wrapped up felt surreal. Seeing our collective effort transformed into reality made every hour spent in planning worthwhile. The basketball court wasn't just a new addition to my property. It represented resilience against restrictions while embodying community spirit forged through hard work alongside friends. In those moments after completion filled with laughter echoing across freshly painted lines illuminated under LED lights, I couldn't help but feel an overwhelming sense of gratitude toward everyone who had contributed their time and energy into making this dream come true. Reflecting on how much support had made this possible highlighted just how important community truly is when faced with challenges. It reminded me that even amidst regulations meant to govern us, we can reclaim joy through collaboration fueled by shared passions. With construction complete and excitement brewing over future games ahead, it became clear that building this basketball court marked not just an achievement but a celebration of connection within our neighborhood, something that would last far beyond those initial days spent constructing it. The moment of truth had finally arrived. After weeks of hard work, planning, and collaboration, The basketball court was complete, and it was time for the grand reveal. I could hardly contain my excitement as I sent out messages to friends and neighbors, inviting them over for a small celebration to showcase our new addition. The anticipation built throughout the day as I prepared for what felt like a momentous occasion. As the sun began to set, casting a warm golden hue over my backyard, friends started to arrive, their faces lighting up with curiosity. There was a buzz in the air, a mix of excitement and eagerness to see what we had created together. I stood at the entrance of my yard, ready to unveil the space that had gone from a simple idea to a vibrant reality. With a flourish, I pulled back the makeshift curtain I had draped over the entrance to the court area, an old sheet that added a touch of theatrics to the reveal. Gasps of delight erupted from my friends as they stepped into the space. The bright colors of the court, vivid blue lines contrasting against the shiny surface, caught their eyes immediately. The adjustable hoop stood proudly at one end, while the surrounding greenery provided a beautiful frame for our new gathering spot. "Wow, this looks amazing," Jason exclaimed, taking in the entire scene with an approving nod. Others echoed his sentiment, marveling at how everything had come together so seamlessly. It felt gratifying to see their reactions. All of our hard work had truly paid off. As everyone explored the court and examined the details, the painted lines, the smooth surface beneath our feet, and even the carefully placed flowers around the edges, I felt an overwhelming sense of pride. This was not just my accomplishment. It was a testament to what we could achieve when we came together as community. After giving everyone some time to soak in their surroundings, I gathered everyone together for a brief speech. I expressed my gratitude for their support throughout this journey, from helping with construction to contributing ideas and resources. "This court represents more than just a place to play basketball," I said passionately. "It embodies our spirit as neighbors and friends who can overcome challenges together." With cheers and applause ringing in my ears, it was time for the first game. The energy shifted from admiration to eager anticipation as we divided into teams. Some were seasoned players, while others were more casual enthusiasts, eager to shoot some hoops. It didn't matter. What mattered was that we were all here together, ready to enjoy this space we had created. The first tip-off was filled with laughter and friendly banter as we played half-court games that quickly turned competitive. The sound of sneakers squeaking against the polished tiles mingled with shouts of encouragement and playful trash talk. It was exhilarating to see everyone so engaged, running up and down the court, relishing every moment. As I dribbled down toward the hoop, memories flooded back of my childhood spent playing basketball with friends in similar settings. Each shot made felt like a celebration, not just of scoring points, but of reclaiming joy that had been stifled by HOA regulations earlier in this journey. Every time someone made a basket, cheers erupted from teammates, while even those sitting on the sidelines joined in with claps and whistles. The atmosphere was electric. It felt like we were not just playing basketball, but also celebrating each other's presence, fostering connections through shared experiences that would last well beyond this evening. After several exhilarating games filled with laughter and camaraderie, we decided it was time for a brief break. Everyone flopped onto benches or spread out on picnic blankets nearby. As we caught our breath, conversations flowed easily about everything from favorite moments during our first game to future plans for hosting neighborhood tournaments or family gatherings at this new hub of activity. In those moments sitting together under twinkling string lights illuminating our backyard oasis, it became clear how impactful this space would be moving forward, not just as an area dedicated solely to basketball, but as an embodiment of community spirit where friendships could flourish through sportsmanship and teamwork. As night fell deeper around us, with stars beginning to twinkle brightly overhead, I took a moment just to soak it all in, laughter echoing around me combined with that unmistakable feeling of fulfillment from having achieved something meaningful alongside friends who shared similar passions. The first game on our newly built basketball court wasn't merely about competition. It represented resilience against restrictions imposed by an HOA while celebrating connection among neighbors coming together for fun-filled moments outside their homes. Reflecting on how far this journey had come, from an initial ban on my driveway, hoop leading me toward creating something far greater than anticipated, The experience ultimately reminded me that challenges can lead us toward unexpected opportunities if only we remain open-minded about possibilities ahead. With each bounce of the ball resonating amidst laughter ringing through warm summer air, it became evident. This wasn't just about building a basketball court. It was about nurturing relationships within our community while celebrating joy through play, a legacy that would endure long into the future. In the weeks following the completion of the basketball court and our thrilling inaugural game, I found myself reflecting on how this project had begun to weave itself into the fabric of our neighborhood. The initial excitement of the reveal had sparked a wave of community engagement that I hadn't anticipated. Friends and neighbors who had gathered for the first game began to return, eager to play or simply enjoy the vibrant atmosphere surrounding the court. Word spread quickly about our new addition, and soon it was not just friends stopping by, but families from down the street and around the corner. Children would ride their bikes over, drawn by the sounds of laughter and bouncing basketballs. Parents would join in, forming teams with their kids or taking turns shooting hoops while other adults chatted nearby. The court became an instant hub for social interaction, nurturing connections among neighbors who might not have interacted regularly before. One afternoon, while I was practicing my shots, I noticed a group of kids gathered at the edge of the court, watching intently. They were shy but clearly eager to join in. I called them over and invited them to play a few games with me. Their faces lit up with excitement as they picked teams and jumped into action. It wasn't long before their parents arrived, curious about what had captured their children's attention. Seeing those families come together brought me immense joy. It reminded me of why I had embarked on this journey in the first place, creating a space that encouraged community spirit and active living. The court was no longer just my personal project. It had transformed into a shared resource for everyone in our neighborhood. As more people began using the court, I noticed an increase in spontaneous gatherings. On weekends, groups would gather for impromptu tournaments or friendly matches that attracted spectators from neighboring houses. The sound of cheers and playful banter filled the air, creating a lively atmosphere that echoed through our street. Even those who weren't playing would come out to enjoy the community camaraderie, bringing snacks, drinks, or simply their enthusiasm for watching. With this newfound engagement came an unexpected sense of responsibility. As the unofficial steward of this communal space, I wanted to ensure that it remained welcoming and enjoyable for all. So I organized regular events like Friday night pickup games or family-oriented fun days where kids could learn basketball skills while parents mingled nearby. These gatherings not only offered recreational opportunities, but also created a platform for building lasting friendships among neighbors. To further foster community involvement, I decided to reach out to local schools and youth organizations to see if they'd be interested in hosting clinics or workshops at our court. This idea resonated well with several groups focused on promoting physical activity among children and teens. Before long, we were hosting weekend clinics led by local coaches who volunteered their time to teach essential skills, from dribbling techniques to teamwork strategies. The response was overwhelmingly positive. Parents expressed gratitude for providing their children with opportunities to engage in healthy activities while fostering a sense of belonging within our neighborhood. Each clinic filled with laughter and learning solidified bonds between participants, further enriching our community's culture. However, not everyone was initially on board with this newfound enthusiasm surrounding my backyard basketball court. Some members of the HOA reached out expressing concerns about noise levels during evening games or increased foot traffic in our previously quiet neighborhood. It was important for me to address these concerns thoughtfully. After all, maintaining harmony within our community was crucial. In response to these concerns, I took proactive measures by engaging directly with HOA representatives and neighbors who had expressed reservations. I organized meetings where we could openly discuss any issues arising from using the court while emphasizing how it was being utilized as an inclusive space rather than just a private amenity. During these discussions, I highlighted how much joy this project had brought not only to my family, but also countless others within our community, transforming what could have been seen as a nuisance into something beneficial for everyone involved. As these conversations unfolded respectfully amid shared interests, the love of sports and community spirit, It became clear that through open dialogue, we could reach mutual understanding regarding shared spaces like this basketball court. Ultimately, responses shifted positively over time as more people witnessed firsthand how much good this project had done in bringing neighbors together, creating friendships across ages while promoting active lifestyles rooted deeply within shared experiences on and off the court. Reflecting on everything that transpired since constructing this basketball court reminds me just how powerful community engagement can be. It's impressive how a simple idea born from frustration turned into an opportunity not just for fun, but also connection among residents who once barely knew each other. This journey opened doors toward fostering relationships built upon collaboration fueled by shared interests, a legacy that would undoubtedly continue thriving long after those initial days spent constructing it. Whether through friendly games or structured clinics designed for youth development, the impact of this space reached far beyond individual enjoyment. It became synonymous with unity within our neighborhood, a testament proving that together we can create something truly special. As I sat on the edge of the newly constructed basketball court, watching friends and neighbors shoot hoops and share laughs, I couldn't help but reflect on the journey that had brought me to this moment. The transformation from a simple driveway hoop to a full-fledged court in my backyard was not just about creating a space for recreation. It had also become a powerful exploration of personal freedom and the dynamics of living within a homeowners association. Initially, receiving that notice from the HOA, it felt like a blow to my sense of autonomy. It was frustrating to be told how I could and could not utilize my property, especially when it came to something as innocuous as a basketball hoop. The restrictions seemed unreasonable, stifling any expression of individuality. At that point, I felt trapped, not just by the regulations, but by the notion that my choices were dictated by an organization focused on uniformity above all else. However, the process of building the basketball court became an act of reclaiming my personal freedom. I realized that while the HOA imposed rules with good intentions, aimed at maintaining property values and community aesthetics, I had the right to express myself in ways that mattered to me. This realization ignited a fire within me to create something meaningful, not just for myself, but for my community as well. Transforming my backyard into a vibrant court allowed me to redefine what it meant to be part of a community governed by an HOA. Rather than viewing these regulations solely as limitations, I began to see them as part of a larger conversation about balance between individual expression and collective living. This new perspective influenced how I approached interactions with both the HOA and my neighbors. Throughout the construction process and subsequent community engagement, I found opportunities to communicate openly with those who may have initially viewed my project skeptically. By inviting conversations about how the court could benefit everyone, by fostering connections, encouraging active lifestyles, and even enhancing property values, I discovered that many were willing to shift their perceptions when presented with thoughtful dialogue. I learned that navigating HOA dynamics requires understanding its role in maintaining order while also advocating for personal freedoms. It's vital to recognize that homeowners associations often operate under their own set of constraints, balancing the desires of individual residents with overarching community goals. My journey highlighted how essential it is to engage respectfully within this framework, advocating for one's interests while remaining receptive to others' concerns. As our basketball court evolved into a communal gathering place, it became clear that personal freedom is most meaningful when shared with others. The initial challenge posed by the HOA ultimately led me down a path of creativity and collaboration, transforming frustration into an opportunity for community building. The court became emblematic of resilience and innovation in the face of restrictions, a reminder that even within boundaries set by an HOA, there exists room for growth and connection. Reflecting on this journey also brought to light the importance of finding common ground amidst differences. While rules may seem rigid or stifling at times, they often exist because people genuinely care about their community's well-being. Engaging in constructive conversations about how individual actions can align with communal interests is crucial for fostering harmony among neighbors. The friendships forged through this experience have been invaluable. Not only did we bond over basketball games, but also through shared experiences navigating challenges together. Watching children grow more confident on the court or seeing families come together for weekend tournaments added depth to our community ties. It reminded me that personal freedom flourishes when it is coupled with respect for others' perspectives. As I reflected further on these dynamics, I realized that true empowerment comes from understanding our rights while also recognizing our responsibilities toward those living alongside us. Building this basketball court illustrated that self-expression need not come at the expense of community cohesion. Rather, it can enhance it when approached thoughtfully. The evolution from frustration over an HOA ban to creating an inclusive space has reshaped how I view both personal freedom and community engagement. This experience reinforced my belief in advocacy, not just for oneself, but also for collaborative solutions benefiting everyone involved. In navigating these complexities, I've learned valuable lessons about communication, compromise, and creativity, skills vital not only within HOA context but throughout life itself. The court stands now as a testament not just to basketball, but also resilience against restriction, a reminder that embracing individuality can coexist harmoniously alongside shared values among neighbors. The reflections sparked by this journey have deepened my appreciation for communal living. The laughter echoing across our newly built court serves as proof that even amidst challenges imposed by rules, meaningful connections can be nurtured through effort and empathy. Watching kids play freely under twinkling lights or seeing families gather around reminds me daily why this journey was worthwhile. Personal freedom doesn't have to be solitary. It can flourish beautifully when embraced collectively. As I stood on the freshly painted lines of the basketball court, taking in the laughter and energy surrounding me, I couldn't help but think about the future. The journey from a simple driveway hoop to a vibrant community court had been transformative, not only for me, but for everyone involved. It was clear that this space had become more than just a place to play basketball. It was a hub for connection, recreation, and lasting memories for our neighborhood. With the foundation laid and the court now thriving, I began to contemplate how to cultivate its legacy further. I envisioned this space as an ongoing project that could evolve with our community's needs and interests. There were so many possibilities ahead, and I wanted to ensure that the court continued to foster engagement for years to come. One of my immediate goals was to establish regular events that would bring people together more intentionally. I envisioned monthly tournaments, fun competitions that would encourage friendly rivalry among neighbors while allowing families to engage in wholesome activities. These tournaments could include various formats, teams made up of neighbors, kids versus adults, or even themed events like family night where everyone could participate regardless of skill level. By creating an inclusive atmosphere, we could strengthen bonds while ensuring that the court remained a central focus of community life. Additionally, I saw potential in partnering with local organizations or schools to offer basketball clinics and workshops for youth. Engaging coaches from nearby high schools or community programs would not only provide valuable skills to young players, but also encourage them to stay active and involved in sports. These activities could be designed not just for skill development, but also for teaching teamwork and sportsmanship, values that extend far beyond the basketball court. As part of these future plans, I wanted to create a sense of ownership among the neighborhood children. One idea was to invite them to contribute creatively by painting murals or adding personalized touches around the court's perimeter. This would give them a stake in this shared space, fostering pride and responsibility while allowing their creativity to shine through. Collaborating on art projects could also serve as an opportunity for bonding among children and parents alike, turning the court into a canvas reflecting our community's spirit. Moreover, I envision hosting seasonal events tailored to different times of the year, perhaps summer barbecues or fall festivals centered around basketball games. These gatherings could enhance community engagement while allowing us all to celebrate milestones together. They would be opportunities not only for fun but also for recognizing achievements within our neighborhood, like academic accomplishments or personal growth stories among residents. Another important aspect of planning for the future involved maintaining open lines of communication with the HOA. As our basketball court continued to flourish, I knew it was essential to keep them informed about our activities and any positive impacts we were experiencing as a result. By sharing success stories, photos from tournaments, or testimonials from families, we could demonstrate how this space contributed positively to community life rather than detracting from it. I also began considering ways to extend our reach beyond just basketball. Perhaps we could host outdoor movie nights during warm summer evenings or organize family game nights featuring board games or other activities on the adjoining lawn area. Creating diverse opportunities for engagement would ensure that every member of our community felt welcome, regardless of age or interest. As conversations continued with my neighbors about their hopes for the court moving forward, I discovered that many had ideas and passions they wanted to share as well. Some expressed interest in using the space for yoga classes or fitness events, while others mentioned organizing charity events tied to local causes we collectively cared about. This collaborative spirit inspired me immensely. It reinforced how much we could accomplish together when we shared a vision for what this space could represent. In thinking about the legacy of this court, it became evident that its impact extended beyond recreational purposes. It had become a catalyst for fostering relationships and building connections among residents who may have otherwise remained strangers. The friendships formed during pickup games and organized events echoed through our neighborhood, reminding us all of how important it is to nurture community ties. Looking ahead filled me with hope for what this court meant today and what it could evolve into over time as generations continued passing through its boundaries. Each bounce of a basketball echoed not only joy but also unity, a reminder that through collaboration, creativity, and compassion, we can transform challenges into opportunities. As I watched kids shooting hoops late into the evening under twinkling lights, the scene filled with laughter and excitement, I realized just how powerful this journey had been. It wasn't merely about building a basketball court. It was about creating lasting memories rooted deeply within our shared experiences as neighbors who embraced one another wholeheartedly. The future plans laid before us promised an exciting path filled with possibilities, one where resilience against restrictions transformed into opportunities for growth, and where personal freedom flourished alongside community engagement. The legacy of this basketball court would undoubtedly endure long after any single game ended, a testament proving that when we come together with purpose and passion, we can create something truly remarkable. The end.